This early morning, let's explore the path of mastery, and then let's meditate. This is Lama Jigme Gyatso of the Buddha Joy Meditation School. Welcome to Meditate Like a Jedi, which is brought to you by the kind-hearted folks who help support this channel on Patreon. This morning, we could chant and meditate and enjoy a lesson or two, but first, if you love Star Wars and you wish to meditate as profoundly as Rey on Ahch-To under the guidance of Luke Skywalker, be sure to subscribe and ring that notification bell. Good news. If at any point during this morning's live stream, any point at all, you have a specific question about Buddhist meditation or Buddhist philosophy or how to apply them to your life, simply type your question in great detail in the chat window on the right-hand side of the screen. Many people in many human endeavors tend to be rigid, fearful, controlling, elitist, competitive, and cruel. And these people try to make goals seem unattainable. There are a minority of people who choose to be flexible, loving, laid-back, egalitarian, cooperative, and kind. And these guys tend to make goals much more approachable. There are two words used often in Buddhism: liberation and enlightenment. From a certain point of view, liberation could simply be effectively applying the Buddha's teachings. Well, what would enlightenment be then? Simply the mastery of those teachings. So think of it this way. According to Abraham Maslow, there are 4 stages of mastery in any subject. There's unconscious incompetence, conscious incompetence. Unconscious competence, you don't even know the skill set is a possibility. Second, conscious incompetence, you know it's a possibility, you try your hand at it, you fail horribly. Conscious competence is you're able to perform the task but with great effort. Mastery is you're able to perform the task spontaneously, habitually, easily, and effectively. It is now a habit. Whether the habit is flossing your teeth, or tying your shoes, or riding a bicycle, or applying the Buddha's 8-fold path. And so what a good teacher helps you do is not only practice the path and experience freedom from the tyranny of the destructive drives in our central nervous system, but can also, a good teacher can also help you master these things. So here's the deal. If your teacher, by his or her own confession, has not mastered the path, they won't help you to master the path. They can't. All they can do is tell you what won't work. If someone's been trudging the Buddha's path for 10 or 20 or 40 years and they still don't feel they've mastered the path, they've made a mistake. The Buddha taught that complete mastery of the 8-fold path could be accomplished in 7 years or 7 quarters or 7 months or 7 fortnights or 7 weeks or even 7 days. If after multiple decades your teacher still doesn't feel they accomplished the path, then find a teacher who can help you to master this path. Welcome to the Sunday morning excerpt of Yongjie Xuanjui's Song of Enlightenment. Let's chant together. The incomparable lion roar of the doctrine, how said the people lost stubbornly ignorant, just knowing that crime blocks enlightenment, not seeing the secret of the Tathagata's teaching. When I was a little boy, on television there was an advertisement for Pepto-Bismol, where the man complained, "Last night the waiter suggested that I try this and such." I responded to the waiter, "I don't know if I'll like this and such. I've never had it before." To which the waiter responded, "Try it, you'll like it." I tried it. I didn't like it. So that was seared into my furry little brain at a young age. So often, people will shut down before even considering a new idea, even if they have already lamented that what they're currently working is not giving them the desired results. Consider the example of the Buddha's life, whether it was actual or merely archetypical. The Buddha started over several times. In his mid-30s, he left the palace life and started life over as a wandering monk, wandering yogi. Then he started that over again by finding a formal teacher. And then he started over again to find a second teacher. And then he started over again and joined the forest ascetics. And then he started over again by himself. The Buddha's life is marked by several times having the courage to say, "I'm dissatisfied with this path. I'm going to apply the teachings of another path and see if these results are getting me closer to my desired goal." That is courage. Courage is not the absence of fear. Courage is doing the wise thing, the noble thing, in the face of fear. Let's continue. 2 monks were guilty of murder and carnality. Their leader Upali had the light of a globe, and he just added to their guilt. Vimalakirti cleared their doubts, and once the sunshine melts the frost and snow. We can always find rigid, literal-minded people to read us the riot act in no uncertain terms. If we're truly fortunate, we'll find people who can help us apply the Buddha's wisdom teachings to letting go of our greatest obstacles in an easy and effective way. The remarkable power of emancipation works wonders as numerable as the sounds of the Ganges. So what's innumerable? The amount of wonders that the power of liberation can bestow upon us. To this we offer clothing, bed, bedding, medicine. 10,000 pieces of gold are not sufficient. Though you break your body and your bones become powder, this is not enough for repayment. One vivid word surpasses millions of years of practice. The King of Dharma deserves our highest respect. Tathagatas innumerable as the sons of the Ganges all prove this fact by their attainment. Okay, so what's being said here? When we read the Dhammapada, we could stumble upon the passage that explains but 1 hour of meditation is superior to an entire life of ritual. The Buddha doesn't want our offerings. The Buddha wants us simply to apply his teachings to our life in the most sustainable way. What is the one word that changes everything? Yes. The word of setting aside our exhausting habit of living in perpetual resistance to the present moment. This is not some abstract theory. This path has been mastered by many people who have become Buddhas. Fortunately, neither you nor I need to reinvent the wheel. Welcome to the latest iteration of our practice text, or sadhana, if you're fancy. Its title is Easy Meditations Proto-Zen, which means based on not on the Zen teachings, not on the Shan teachings that predated them, but the teachings that predated those, exemplified by the author of Song of Enlightenment. Let us exercise the neural pathways responsible for empathy and enthusiasm simply by chanting the recitations of bodhicitta and refuge. May I liberate all beings from the tyranny of hating, craving, and clinging by relying on the Buddha's example, instructions, and students. May I liberate all beings from the tyranny of hating, craving, and clinging by relying on the Buddha's example, instructions, and students. May I liberate all beings from the tyranny of hating, craving, and clinging by relying on the Buddha's example, instructions, and students. Now it's time to practice mindfulness and meditation, which are known by many names, such as Zen, Chan, Dhyana, Mahamudra, Ati Yoga, Dzogchen, and Trekcho, or slice through. Despite the grandiosity of these names, it is profoundly simple to practice. The key to mindfulness is to silently and mentally recite the demonstrative pronoun this during each inhalation. Every time we inhale, we automatically access our sympathetic nervous system, which has not evolved to actively concentrate, but instead to merely perceive in a manner that is vulnerable, passive, visceral, and random. We could notice sights, sounds, sensations, flavors, scents, and the like. We could emote, intend, reason, recall, and imagine. We could notice the external, the internal, the physical, the mental, the pleasurable, the painful, the interesting, the boring, the glorious, and the grotesque. What are we to do with that which we notice? The key to meditation is to silently and mentally recite the interjection yes during each exhalation. For during each exhalation, we effortlessly and automatically access our parasympathetic nervous system, which has evolved to both physically relax as well as mentally release. And this is the key to the Buddha's path. We sit there not like a playwright, not like a thespian, not like a director, not like a producer, but just like a member of the audience, enjoying the show as it plays itself out before us on the stage of our mind. Let's meditate. Bear with me one moment. The Buddha taught that there are 4 bases of mindfulness: the mental, the interpersonal, the physical, and the circumstantial. Let us bring impermanence, or let us begin with Dhammasati, or Anicca Vipassanas, a set of 4 impermanence contemplations to help us sustainably let go. As we breathe in, we silently and mentally recite what? As we exhale, we silently and mentally recite the remainder of the rhetorical question, is changing. Now, by nature, by definition, a rhetorical question is not asked to actively find an answer or supernaturally receive an answer. The very act of, if we simply play with these questions and recite it silently and mentally in harmony with our inhalation and our exhalation and our relaxation, surprisingly enough, it will make us more peaceful. We come to the second of 4 contemplations where we consider subtle impermanence. What is fading? We come to the third of 4 contemplations where we consider very subtle impermanence by playing with the rhetorical question, what is ceasing? This brings us to the fourth of 4 contemplations where we consider relinquishing, yielding, or surrendering. Bear with me. Bear with me. I will attend to the screen momentarily. Excuse me? We continue with Kayasati's only set of 4 preliminary meditations that center our bodies. This is the first of Centering's 4 physical preliminary practices where we mindfully notice, even investigate, our relaxingly long, gentle exhalations. We come to the second of Centering's 4 physical preliminary practices where we mindfully notice and even investigate the coalescence of our invigoratingly sharp inhalations. We come to the third of Centering's 4 physical preliminary practices, where we mindfully notice and even investigate our bodies. we come to the fourth of Centering's 4 physical preliminary practices, where we allow our bodies to tranquilly relax. With each inhalation, we're able to effortlessly notice our body in a manner that is subtly pleasurable. And with each exhalation, our body could feel as if it was as non-graspable as a vast, empty void. Our body could feel as if it was as non-graspable as the illusion of the infinite azure sky on a bright and beautiful cloudless morn, which, although is tantalizing to the eye, is intangible to the grasp. Having reached the halfway point, we continue with Vedana Sati's first 2 sets of, I apologize, first of 2 sets of 4 jhana meditations each. This one centers on our feelings. We come to the first of 4 feeling-oriented centering practices, where we savor the first jhana's blissful joy that flows from gently grinning, with the corners of our mouth, the apples of our cheeks, and the crow's feet of our eyes, towards our bodies of flesh, blood, and bone. We come to the second of 4 feeling-oriented centering practices, where we savor the second jhana's peaceful joy that flows from gently grinning once again with the corners of our mouth, the apples of our cheeks, and the crow's feet of our eyes towards our thoughts. And we're using the word thought as an umbrella term for our tendency to emote, intend, reason, recall, and imagine. We come to the third of 4 feeling-oriented centering practices, where we savor the third jhana's contentment. By mindfully noticing, investigating, and coalescing our thoughts, emoting, intending, reasoning, recalling, and imagining. We come to the fourth of 4 feeling-oriented centering practices, where we savor the fourth jhana's neutrality by allowing our thoughts, emoting, intending, reasoning, recalling, and imagining to tranquilly relax. We've come to the final quarter of our practice, where we continue with Chitta Sati's second of 2 sets of 4 jhana meditations. This one centers on our mind. We come to the first of 4 mind-oriented centering practices, where we savor the 5th jhana sphere of infinite spaciousness, which is freedom from feeling physically compressed. We do so by mindfully noticing, investigating, and coalescing our mind's ability to see, hear, feel, taste, smell, and the like. So we are using the word mind as an umbrella term. We come to the second of 4 mind-oriented centering practices, where we savor the 6th jhana sphere of infinite awareness, which is freedom from feeling mentally compressed. Doing so, we allow our mind to gladden. As towards it, we gently smile from the corners of our mouth, the apples of our cheeks, and the crow's feet of our eyes. We come to the third of 4 mind-oriented centering practices, where we savor the 7th jhana sphere of non-graspability, as we allow our mind's capacities or faculties of sight, hearing, feeling, tasting, smelling, and the like, to tranquilly relax in the most sustainable way. So we're not using the word calm as an adjective, but a verb. We conclude with the fourth of four mind-oriented centering practices, where we savor the eighth jhana sphere of acquiescent non-labeling, by experiencing the liberating equanimity or balance of our controlling tendencies to shove and to reach. And once again, the word free is less of an adjective and more of a verb. Please bear with me for a moment. Let us seal our practice with a bit of the old 4 immeasurables of wishing love. May everyone be free from misery, may everyone be happy, may no one be separated from the happiness, may everyone have balance from the tyranny of hating, craving, and clinging, freed. If you feel that I have earned it, you could type something in the chat window. Oopsie, wrong one. Let's try that. Yeah, that'll work. You could give this live stream a thumbs up. You could share it with a friend. You could even help support this channel on Patreon. In approximately 2.5 hours, I would very much like to return to lead today's mid-morning meditation. Until then, may you and yours be happy and healthy. And if you are as geeky as me, this is the way.